Hi, I'm Jason McDonald. So how many of you, if given the opportunity, would choose to leave ASU after just 1 year of education to pursue your professional career? All right, just 3 or 4 of you, all right. Well, for a certain specific group of collegiate athletes, this is not only a hypothetical question, it is a real scenario. The purpose of my speech today is to inform you about the growing trend in college basketball of one-and-done basketball players. And by the time I'm finished speaking today, I hope that you at least take a little understanding of what I'm talking about how college basketball players only take 1 year of their eligibility, and then they leave college to embark on their professional career in the NBA. First, I would like to just give you a little bit of background information about my topic, give you a couple examples of who players are. Next, I would like to explain why these players choose to make this decision to leave school early. And finally, I would like to explain to you the effects that these players' decisions have on both college basketball and on professional basketball. Well, before 2005, players were eligible to be drafted into the National Basketball Association if they were only 18 years old and if they had graduated high school. Following the 2005 new collective bargaining agreement between the Players Association and the owners, this rule was changed, and these players were forced to wait until they were 19 years old and at least 1 year removed from their high school graduation. Since 2006, the first year of this rule being active, there were 2 players that were freshmen that were drafted in the first round of the NBA draft. Since then, this trend has grown quite increasingly. In this past summer's draft, there were 7 players in the first round that were taken as freshmen. Young stars that are budding in the NBA today, there are many of them that have used this trend to elevate their careers and become superstars in the league. Some of you may be familiar with Carmelo Anthony of the New York Knicks, Kevin Durant of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and even Derrick Rose of the Chicago Bulls. Now, these players, they have spent 1 year in college, and it has sufficiently prepared them for their career as superstars in the NBA. Now that I've described briefly what a one-and-done player is, giving you a couple examples, I would like to explain why these players make these decisions to leave college early and become pros. According to an independent journalist, Chris Bernucci, it is easier for a college basketball player to leave college early for the lure of the millions of dollars that they can make, to learn from the best coaches and the best players in the world that could also elevate their play and potentially increase their earnings as a professional player, than it is to remain eligible as an amateur athlete in college and receive a degree after 4 years of education that wouldn't really profit that much, as they would still be trying to become a professional athlete. These players that often are leaving college after just 1 year are deemed lottery picks in the National Basketball League draft. Now, for some of you who don't know or aren't familiar with the draft or what a lottery is, the lottery is the first 14 selections of the 30 picks in the NBA draft. And the way it's chosen is through just the way like the lottery Powerball is. The 14 worst teams from the previous year get together before the draft, about a couple of days, and they all have little ping pong balls corresponding to what their team is, and then they select from 14 down to 1 to choose as fairly as possible which team gets which selection. Now, if a player is deemed as a lottery pick, they are sufficiently expected to make more money throughout their career than other players that are selected after them. So if a player who just spends 1 year in college is deemed a lottery pick, he will definitely try to leave college early as possible so he can increase his value or keep it at what it currently is. Now, most of these players who are also in college basketball have been through financial hardships through their life, so that's another reason why they would decide to leave college early and help their families or help their other loved ones out with their earnings as a professional athlete. We have covered why these players decide to leave college early, and next I will choose to dive into the effects that these decisions make after they have decided to leave their college programs. Most people who are against this one-and-done trend in the NBA are for like a either 2 year or 3 year mandatory state like that college players would have to be in college for. These people mostly view that it is hindrance against college basketball, and it takes away from the integrity of the game. According to Rob Ogden, who is also another independent journalist, these players are impactful on their teams as freshmen, and if they decide to leave early, they kind of leave gaps in the program and leave uncertainties as to how the program will be stable for following years. So they believe that this trend is for the present in college basketball, but for the future of the pros. So they believe that the future of college basketball kind of is like a gray area. Nobody really knows how sure and how successful they will be as college athletes. For the pros, a 19-year-old boy, as you would say, or man, isn't often seen as ready for the tenuous struggles of an NBA season. It is longer, and it includes more traveling than a college season. And most people don't believe somebody with immaturity of a 19-year-old is adequately prepared for those struggles. This growing trend of the past few years has definitely affected the National Basketball League and college basketball in equal realms, and most people do believe that it should be changed from 1 year mandatory in college until 2 years. In conclusion, I've talked about how I've given you a little bit of background information about how players have been introduced as these one-and-done phenoms, or players who decide to stay 1 year in college. I've also kind of given you a little bit of reasons why these players decide to leave college early. And then I have also kind of given you the effects that it has on National Basketball Association and on college basketball. So next time you find yourself watching TV, watching your favorite NBA basketball team, or down at Wells Fargo Arena rooting on our Sun Devils, keep your eyes on the lookout for potential players here at the college level that might be good enough to only spend 1 year here at this amateur level, that will chase their dreams and become professionals. Thank you. Do you have any questions?